Okay,
Hey,
we're
I'm still
live.
here.
Let me write an update. Yeah, hi everybody who's watching. We had a little technical difficulties. This Be Live TV is it seems to be a learning curve, but at least
Yes,
I'm not echoing.
that's
That's a
true.
new one.
That's true.
So everybody, today we have Debi Berndt Maldonado, and her interview went out today on the Birth Your Business Summit, and she is just really incredible. She's her and her husband, Dr. Rob, are Jungian psychologists who do life, love, and business coaching, and I really love their work. And today we're here to just give you a little bit further taste of the interview and her work, and we're going to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and some other mindset tips she has. So, hi Debbie, thanks for being
Hi.
with me and putting up with difficulties today.
That's okay. Technology is crazy sometimes. And just a
Yeah.
correction, I'm not a psychologist. Dr. Rob
Oh
is,
yeah. Yes.
but I'm hearing an echo. So in my head, I may
Oh
be a
no.
little
Well,
weird the talking because I'm hearing. Okay, it's better now.
good to me. Okay.
It's great to be here.
Thanks. And yeah, so I was telling some people that I really loved your interview because it really hit on the points that are, a lot of people don't think about as entrepreneurs beyond doing the work, like the marketing, the email list, setting up a business. But the biggest challenge, and a lot of people don't know this, is dealing with yourself and your mind and your own limitations. And your interview was just so enlightening because it went beyond what I knew when it came to mindset. It was far beyond the information that I already knew. So can you talk a little bit more about that, about working as an entrepreneur or starting a business or whichever, and some of these challenges and tips for getting through your own internal limitations that keep you from success and getting what you want in life?
Well, I think a lot of people get caught up in this idea that they have what they want. They have to.
Oh no, now you're breaking up a little bit.
Mindset is
Oh,
about,
other.
you're doing the work to basically feed your ego or out of fear. You're just going to keep getting more of that back. So I think a lot of people get caught up in, getting all the strategies, and they forget what's going on inside themselves. And we have basically three relationships that we're dealing with success. We're dealing with the relationship with ourselves, who we are, what we know about ourselves, our psychology. We're also dealing with the relationships with the world, how we interact with others, because we need others to do our business, right? And staff and all those other people out there, other resources. And then the last relationship is a relationship with our divine self, or a higher self, or God, or spirit, because the unseen that we can't see. Because if we don't have that, we don't have some sort of reason of why we're doing what we're doing, or the faith that we can take risks and move forward, it won't be complete. So those three areas is really critical. And I can tell you, I know so much about marketing. I've been doing marketing since I was in my early 20s. So it's not the marketing. It's really, I see the same people doing the same things, but when it's the people with the mindset that actually make the difference. And you can do it if you work really hard, but it's just going to be exhausting and you're going to burn out. So, so definitely the mind is where it's at.
Burnout is real. I've been there many times before. Now, I'm curious, when someone's, let's say, in the middle of launching a business or their first year or two, and they do get stuck in that mindset of the fear or whatever it is. I mean, fear is a pretty common one. And let's say they don't have a higher self connection. I mean, is it possible to get through it? Or
Well, what will happen is they'll end up creating from fear. And they may create, I know a lot of people that are successful, I wouldn't call it successful, maybe they make money doing bit in their business. Maybe I don't really necessarily think make money is a success, but say they go out and they make money. If they don't have that relationship with something bigger than themselves, they're really working just for survival. They're working to make money, to feel secure, or to build up their their ego. And if you don't have that other relationship, it's going to not be satisfying. You're going to get exhausted, and you're going to be in this kind of state of flux all the time. Of when the money's flowing in, you're going to feel great. When the money's not there, you're going to feel bad. And it's like kind of like you're tethered to the world versus you're connected to something that's more consistent and more vast than just the little you in the world. That is really powerful, and that's really where I see people make a difference in how they experience that first year. My first year, I was laid off from my corporate job. I never always had a paycheck forever. And what got me through is the faith. There was something in me that knew that I was supposed to be doing this. I didn't know how, and it was hard, more hard mentally than anything else. I knew what I needed to do, but it's that stick-to-itness. It's like what makes you continued and commit is that there's a higher purpose in what you're doing versus I'm just doing it to pay the bills. And that's why we become entrepreneurs, because we are thinking about our creative life and having something bigger than us and wanting to be expressed. So I don't know many entrepreneurs. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the universe. You can call it just even the unseen, the mechanisms of quantum physics, if you want, and be scientific about it. But we know that there's something more to us than what we see.
Mm-hmm.
That we're connected
and even
to.
some people might not believe in that, but that's what sold me is that, once science proved it to me. Mm-hmm. I'm deeply spiritual too, but it's literally, there's a science to it. There's on a quantum level, everything's completely connected. And
now on the opposite extreme, and on the opposite extreme, I see people use spirituality in a way to make money, which is actually like blasphemy, because you're really saying this higher unlimited part of myself, bring me, pay my bills this month. It's like it's almost like we're putting things in the wrong order. So here's how I would approach business. And even if you're not even spiritual, approach it as I want to be a better person, right? I want to know myself more. I want to grow as a person. That you use the business for the growth. You don't grow to make the business. So there's a big distinction here, and I see a lot of people get caught up in I need to raise my vibration and clear my blocks and do all these things on myself, and then I can have a lot of money. It's like, no. You use your desire for success and to make a difference in the world to grow yourself. And the growth, if that's the goal, you'll always win. And then you'll get more than what you wanted, and you won't be so attached to it. And it won't be this kind of like plugging up the holes in the dike. So you're not, being sent away to, the poor farm, you don't live like that. That's not why you created your business, to survive. You created your business to really see what you're really made of. And I think that's really what the first year for me, it was like, I pushed so many of my limits, but it was like, I felt so rewarded just by stepping outside and doing things I never thought I could do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. This is what I tell people, that it's a lot about stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things that scare the hell out of you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why I'm doing this right now. I never wanted to be on Facebook Live, but people enjoy it, so why not?
And this is my first Facebook Live too. So we're doing that. I'm doing that. I'm trying something new today too.
Welcome to the modern world. Now, if only
I'm
this
connected.
Once this company gets their stuff together and all the glitches are fixed, everybody will be doing this.
Yes.
Now I'm sure. What do you think about
you cut out for
startups? Oh, okay. How about people who get the personal growth, but let's say their business fails?
Then they didn't. It's two things. It's how they respond to it. Were they really doing the personal growth? Or were they just pretending to do personal growth? Or were they doing the personal growth and attached to their business? Like
Hmm.
when I would go back and forth. There was times when I was trying to grow my business, and I would kind of use these techniques, and hypnosis and all this stuff to make more money. And what I was getting caught up. And so what I was doing is I was trying to run away from something. And so it's
Hmm.
really like the personal growth. Are you using it to mask something or run away from something you're afraid of, like no
Hmm.
money or not being important or not making it last? Then that's why it failed. It's not because you did the work. And a lot of people misunderstand that as, oh, it wasn't meant to be. And I guess I'll just start over. The universe doesn't want this for me. It's like, no, you have to see it as a reflection of your mind. And
Hmm.
what is the part that I can't see? Now, sometimes things don't work and you're not attached to it and you have another inspired idea to move forward. But really, the litmus test is, how do you respond to the failure? And if you respond to the failure with fear, the personal growth, there's still a lot more for you to learn about yourself, of what's the fear about.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I love what you say about this because I really don't think many other people get this or talk this deeply about how important the mindset is and how
Hmm.
you do create all that you're experiencing. And yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've seen startups fail and then something even better comes out of it. They
Yeah.
actually, in the startup world, they say it's good to fail a few times because then the third time's a charm or whatever it
Hmm.
is. It's like cool to fail.
Yeah. Well, and I don't define it like we look at it. It's like Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle becomes the way. And a
Mm,
successful person
mm,
doesn't see anything as really a failure. They see it as, it's information. It's something like, where was my mind when this worked? Is my heart really in this? Sometimes
mm.
I would do things when I first started to make money, like I needed some cash. Let me do a quick promotion. And my heart really wasn't in it and it didn't really fly. And then other things that my heart was totally in it and I was not attached. It just seemed to flow. So it's just like you have to keep examining, like, where am I at with this? And everything
Mhm.
is a reflection of your mind. Now, a lot of people have these little, like, kind of like, I can't think of the word, uh, God, I can't think of the word. It's like they have an excuse for, it's not me. It's the economy. It's not me.
Mm.
It's like, I just don't have the right marketing. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's the clients that don't get what we have, or they don't
Yeah.
appreciate, or, and we keep pushing the power away from us. And if you look at everything in your business, it's a reflection of your mind. It's a reflection of
Mhm.
your mind. One of the things I think we talked about on the interview, but I think is so important that changed for me is that when we work with Jungian psychology, and one of the things that Jungian talks about is the archetypes. And we have these
Mhm.
like the way we kind of see the world is pretty much the same and like kind of the same function. And so if we think about specifically the mother archetype, which is our mother, our personal relationship with our mother that everyone can relate to, whether you knew your mother, loved your mother, hated your mother, had conflict with your mother, how you experienced your mother is how you're going to experience the world. So
Hmm.
if you think
Oh
about your
wow.
business and how the business or the world and the economy and the clients feed back to you, it's a very similar experience of your relationship with your mother. For me, my mother, bless her heart, is very, very cautious and always worrying about everything. And,
Oh.
and so what I found is that I was basically treating my business like my mother would treat me, like very like careful and nurturing it, and almost like risk averse. And it was when I stopped, and I saw that was really how I was behaving in the business, like protective, and which is not a bad thing
Yeah.
for a mother to be, but sometimes it can be
Yeah.
too much where you're not taking any risk. So think
Yeah.
about that relationship, how your mother mothered you, and are you mothering your business the same way? Really like simple things that are right there in front of you that you can look at it from your mind and make quick changes. One of the main things I
Wow.
want to say is that I used to think that it was my money story that was stopping me from being successful when I was struggling. Like my thoughts about money when I was in hypnotherapy school, they talked about your money, your beliefs about money. Your problems with your business, or what holding you back from your business, really has nothing to do with your money story. It has to do with your own relationship, like I said, with the world, with yourself, and with the spirit. And most of the things that broke free for me around money were not about money directly. It was about stuff like this, the mother archetype, or something indirectly was impacting my relationship with money, but not in a belief sense of I need to feel abundant and focus on abundance. It was like, what is a part of my psyche that's stopping me from having that experience outside of my comfort zone?
This is, I mean, I studied psychology, and it's, it's obviously I keep studying it, and it makes total sense, because I even know some really successful people, money-wise, that still have a weird relationship with money. It's like there's still that same, some people have that fear of losing it all, or holding on to things.
Yeah, a lot of people, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's all relative. There's someone who has like $1 in their pocket, and they'll go bet that dollar on their next idea. And then there's people with tons of money in the bank won't even invest in themselves. And they just feel like, just waiting for something to happen, or like saving, or like checking everything and overanalyzing their spending. And that can actually, for an entrepreneur, you have to like take risks. You have to be willing to, the way you look at the taking risks in business, financially, especially like if you're hiring a coach or you're investing in marketing, is that it's always going to come back. Whatever you put in is going to come back in some way. And if you have that attitude and believe it, and that's you're spending, you're putting it back in the market, you're actually putting it in the flow. And I think that's the one of the big, when I started spending more on my business is when I started making more in my business.
Yeah.
So
isn't that amazing? This is incredible work. Now, I have a quick question. I mean, it's hopefully it's something you could answer quick. How do you explain this on a deeper level with the mind and how it works? Is it just everything's just truly subconscious because we're so in our patterns and ingrained, from an early age with our mother? I mean, is that how you explain it?
Yeah, it's like we create, like we say, our identity, and we wrap our identity in our family based on what was adaptable in that environment. So there's certain personality traits that we take on that we find that are powerful, and we pick these unconsciously, and then we reject other traits or repress other parts of us that aren't acceptable. So a lot of women, anger wasn't acceptable, right? So they have that, in Jungian terms, we put that in our shadow. And so if there's an opportunity for us to really communicate with someone else or be direct with someone, but we're afraid anger is going to come out, or we're afraid of their anger because we don't have a good relationship with it, or we reject it, we'll limit our experience. We'll not say what we need to say. We'll avoid things. We'll maybe be too nice and give away too much because of someone's anger, not charge enough for what we want. And then that's controlling every decision we make unconsciously. And the recent studies showed that when they were doing brain science, studies of the brain and how it was operating, is that 8 seconds before we make a decision consciously, the brain has already made the decision. So everything, most of what we do is on autopilot. So when you look back at the mistakes you made in your business, you didn't really make them. Your conditioning made them. But if you're not aware of them, you're not aware of yourself, you are going to continue that pattern. And this is where I see a lot of people, if they don't look at their mind and understand their mind, and how they act, and it's not, again, it's not what you believe, like your personal beliefs, those kind of things. It's a deeper, like emotional conditioning of fears that we are afraid to be, are afraid to face, that keep us in the status quo. And when you start a business, everything is threatened. Everything is new. We don't know how to cope with it. And so we're designed to stay in that comfort zone. And in order to get that, we have to figure out and start to notice on a level that we can understand different ways to find out what is unconscious. And Jung says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will think it's fate. And so how can you see what's not seen, right? Well, first step is look at your current reality. It's reflecting your conditioning, your like everything that you see right now, everything that it's reflecting back. So learning how to work with what's showing up and saying, this is my mind. That's the first step. Visualization is also very powerful. Not go and imagine, you're going to be rich and sitting on a pile of money or in this beautiful mansion. That's great. But also working how to work with the contents of your unconscious, how to work with visualizations in a more interactive way. And then the last thing we use is dreams. Our dreams have so much information of about our patterns and what's stopping us. And if we think about it, those of us who believe in a higher power or spirit, that part of us that's unlimited wants us to be successful, wants to have all this great experience, wants to get outside of the comfort zone. So it's like screaming to us almost in our dreams going, here's where you're at. Here's what you're stuck. And if we wake up every day and we think, oh, that was a weird dream. My mother was driving my car and, we crashed into a wall and then this happened.
Oh, wow.
And then, the house fell apart and it was on fire and I don't know why all these things were happening. It was a crazy dream. Meanwhile, that dream has so much content of understanding ourselves and what's stopping us that if we only knew, it's like the messages are right there in front of us. If we only knew how to decipher them, we'd be more empowered. And then once we make it conscious, it can't run us anymore. We can now start making conscious choices. So that's really
incredible.
Three easy ways to do it. And it's all like all of us are, it doesn't take magic. You don't need a shaman to come down and bless you and clear your energy. It's right here. It's basic psychology that you could really use. That's also deep and very mystical in its own way.
So it's so incredible. I actually had a dream. Tomorrow I'm teaching a class about personal branding and to a women's networking group. Yeah, but I had a nightmare about it today that, people showed up late and then they were talking during it and it was that same thing. I was like, well, this is obviously, it's very clearly showing, my nervousness probably, maybe I'm underprepared, maybe it's just because it's a new experience. But it's interesting. And I want everybody to know that Debi actually has some really great visualization meditations on YouTube mostly, right?
Yeah, we have them in our courses too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Her online courses. And I think those are really helpful. Like you said, visualization and obviously, doing the work to understand your mind. It does help. And, Debi came into my life right at the
tip on that dream because I have that dream every time I always have the dream of people showing up, me showing up in my sweatpants at the event and people coming in late and all that. And what we need to do and what I think a lot of like what I did early in life, I did a lot of like healing work and stuff. I would push that stuff away, those fears away. What you want to do is just be okay with that. Go, oh, okay, fear. I see you here. Like it's like in your shadow. So you just kind of say, it's okay. Like, not try to push it away or try to be so perfect at the event and just be saying, I know that this is here. It's not hiding anymore. And just be present with it. And it's fine. It's like, if we didn't have that, we would do reckless things with our life, right? If we didn't have that check, we didn't have that kind of ego to protect us. So it's not a bad thing. It's just, you just kind of let it be there and just not try to cover it up, which makes it worse. Or try to push it away, try to get rid of it. Those things don't work. It just follows you around.
Oh no, yeah. That's what I've been working on. I said you came into my life right when I was in the midst of like the deep shadow work, which of course it's always a process, but just uncovering layers of things that I didn't even know I was doing. I'm like, wow, all these years I was, telling myself that without even knowing it. And once you start uncovering it, you see the results. Like I haven't announced this on Facebook yet, but I manifested this like dream living situation this summer that I was like a year ago was like, maybe I could pull that off next summer. And I just pulled it off in like weeks. So it is interesting. And I love absolutely love the work. And I highly recommend everybody listening, especially if you're starting a business, look into the mind, step into the fear, step into your shadows, and start understanding how you're creating the world you're in. It's like, when you have a bad day and things are starting to happen, like what's going on in your head? It's like, it's pretty much proof. Like one thing bad happens, the next thing happens, the next thing. And if you start paying attention to that, then you learn and you see how this is actually true. So thank you so much for being with us.
I think a lot of people get too caught up in visualizing their future and like just focusing on what they want and the kind of dream that they want, and then pushing away the obstacles that show up. Like, okay, get out of the way, got to clear this, got to clear, move this out. And when all that stuff is actually the stepping stones to get us where we want to go. So all the obstacles that are in the way are the way. They're stairs to lead us to the next level. So you can't ignore them, and you don't want to get rid of them. You want to get wisdom from them because they're preparing you for where you're going. And, you don't have to tell the universe what you want. The universe knows what you want. You don't have to keep going, oh, I want this. You can be clear a little bit and have a vision, but that's like such a small percentage of what creates it. What creates it is you getting out of your own way from not having it.
This is so beautiful. I love it. And I really hope everybody watched, you can still watch Debi's interview today. And for the next 2 or 3 days, it's birththebusiness.com. Debi has a link up in her Facebook page. I have the link all over my page, and I'll share it when we share this video around. And definitely watch it. It was super enlightening, and I absolutely love the work you and Dr. Rob do. And
we're glad to know you too. We really appreciate you and what you do.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience and dealing with all the glitches today. And,
okay.
links in the email, and the email will be resent. So everybody has all the correct links to find your work. And I see you guys look like you have an updated website too.
We just updated our website like 2 weeks ago. So always changing, always growing.
And everybody who's watching, thank you so much. And you'll be able to replay the video in just a couple minutes.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you, Beth, and have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.